Imagine winning the World Rally Championship. Finally. After 12 years of fighting, 5 times finishing as the runner-up, 5 heartbreaks. You cross the line, you're world champion. And then, just a few months later, you're sitting in a car you don't recognize, buried in a snowbank in Sweden, and you say to the cameras, "It is the hardest time of my career so far." That's not a rookie saying that. That's not someone who's never been through the fire. That's Thierry Neuville, the reigning world champion, being shockingly honest about what is happening right now inside one of the WRC's biggest teams. And if you think this is just a bad weekend, stick around, because this story goes way deeper than one snowbank, and it's been building for longer than most people realize. Look, if you don't know Thierry Neuville, here's everything you need in 30 seconds. Belgian, one of the most naturally gifted rally drivers of his generation. He joined Hyundai back in 2014, when the team was basically a blank page, and helped build them into genuine WRC title contenders. He finished as runner-up in the championship 5 times, 2013, and then 4 consecutive years from 2016 to 2019. 5 times, someone else got to raise the trophy. 5 times, Thierry went home with nothing. And then, in 2024, it finally happened. After 3 consecutive seasons finishing third from 2021 to 2023, Neuville claimed his first World Rally Championship title in 2024, becoming the first Belgian ever to win the WRC Drivers' Championship. That's the kind of story you write movies about. So when a man who has lived through all of that, all those near misses, all that pain, when he sits in a media zone and tells reporters this is the hardest period of his career, you stop scrolling. You listen. Because something is genuinely wrong at Hyundai. Let's set the scene. Rally Sweden 2026. Snow, ice, sub-zero temperatures. The kind of conditions that should suit a fast, aggressive driver. And remember, Neuville had topped Thursday's shakedown. He was fastest. He looked ready. Then Friday morning happened. He ran into a snowbank in stage 3, which cost him more than a minute, and by the end of the morning loop he was sitting 7th overall, 1 minute and 37 seconds behind rally leader Elfyn Evans of Toyota. 1 minute 37. In a morning loop. That's not a deficit. That's a chasm. But here's what makes this more than just a bad day. Neuville didn't come to the media and say, "Oh, bad luck, we'll fix it." He was raw. He was honest in a way that makes you sit up straight. He said, "I'm really fighting the balance. Honestly, it is the hardest time of my career so far. We have changed so many things, so you could say we are a bit lost as well, which doesn't help." Lost. The reigning world champion used the word lost, and if that wasn't sobering enough, he added, "I wouldn't say that I'm very happy, to be honest. We will do some changes for this afternoon, but it is pretty hard to know where to go and what to do." Now, this wasn't the only Hyundai struggling. All 3 Hyundai drivers, Neuville, Formeau, and Lappi, reported a lack of traction on the snow and ice-covered roads. Toyota, meanwhile, dominated the entire event with a 1-2-3-4 finish. A 1-2-3-4. Toyota swept the podium and then some. Hyundai got lapped, metaphorically speaking. And Neuville, he was desperately trying everything. He was driving parts of stages without the rear roll bar, then without the front roll bar, trying different rake levels, different preloads, all in an attempt to find something, anything that worked. He even joked, with that typically dry Belgian humor, that he had promised his wife a fastest stage time since he'd forgotten to get her flowers for Valentine's Day. He didn't get the time. He didn't get the flowers. It was that kind of weekend. Okay, so now we need to talk about the car. Because this isn't just a driver confidence issue, there's something fundamentally tricky about the 2025 Hyundai i20N, and the team has known it for a while. Here's the backstory. Hyundai originally planned to build what would have been a practically brand new car for 2025, but those plans were scrapped amid uncertainty over the technical regulations. What they salvaged was still significant. The biggest evolution of the i20N since the car started its WRC career in 2022, with major changes to suspension geometry, transmission, and weight reduction. They used 4 precious homologation jokers to get it done. And here's the part that makes this feel like a gamble. Because they've spent those jokers, Hyundai is now without a chassis joker for the next 2 years, meaning the car will see little to no further development during this period. They've committed. This car is what they've got. But the 2025 car has a very specific problem. Its optimum operating window is extremely narrow. In low grip and changeable conditions, the car has consistently struggled to perform, with the Toyota widely regarded as the benchmark in those scenarios. Think of it like a racing tire that only works in a perfect temperature range. Get it right, and it's brilliant. Get it wrong, even slightly, and you're fighting the car more than you're driving it. At Rally Chile, Neuville called the car a nightmare and revealed, "It is more about surviving. I feel like we are experimenting during the rallies and it doesn't feel good." Experimenting. During the actual rallies. Not in testing. During the competition. On stages where every tenth of a second counts. And what makes this particularly painful is the contrast with last year. In 2024, Neuville had the car exactly where he wanted it. He was calm, precise, consistent. He won the title. Now in 2026, he is yet to beat or even outscore championship leader Elfyn Evans on a single round this season. Not once. And he is currently 50 points shy of the top of the standings. 50 points. That's not a gap you close with one good weekend. Now the big question everyone's asking, is Hyundai in genuine crisis? The honest answer is, it's complicated. On one hand, the team knows they have a problem. Team principal Cyril Abiteboul has publicly acknowledged the peaky nature of the car and confirmed the team is making big efforts to find solutions. And Neuville himself hasn't given up. He insists that the 2025 car has more potential than the 2024 car and that the team just hasn't found the right setup window yet. He said, "We know we have some room for improvement and we have detected some areas for improvement and hopefully those areas can be quickly solved." But here's what's harder to ignore. Dirtfish published a deep analysis after Rally Sweden with a headline that asks a brutal question. Has Hyundai's i20N Rally 1 gone backwards? That's not a fringe take. That's a respected motorsport outlet looking at the data and raising the alarm. Meanwhile, Hyundai's sporting director Andrew Wheatley has acknowledged that Toyota has made gains this season, which means the gap isn't just about Hyundai struggling. Toyota is getting better at the same time. That's a pincer movement, and it's putting the world champion under pressure unlike anything he's felt since those heartbreaking runner-up seasons. Here's what I keep coming back to. This is a man who spent over a decade finishing second, who kept showing up, who never walked away from Hyundai even when the car wasn't good enough, and then he won it all. And now the universe has handed him a whole new test. Because winning a championship is one thing, defending it when the car won't cooperate, when your team is a bit lost by their own admission, when you're trying every setup imaginable and nothing clicks, that's a completely different kind of strength. Neuville said something at Kenya that stuck with me. After battling through illness, time penalties, a jump start penalty, and multiple punctures to still drag the car to a podium finish, he said, "If we wouldn't have been rewarded for all that effort this weekend, I would have been really disappointed." But again, it shows that rallying is the toughest motorsport in the world. That's who Thierry Neuville is. He doesn't quit. He finds a way. But right now, Hyundai needs to give him a car that meets him halfway. Because no amount of heart and talent can close 1 minute and 37 seconds every Friday morning. The question is, can they figure it out before the season slips completely out of reach? That's the story right now. And trust me, this one is far from over. If you've been following Neuville since the early Hyundai days, drop a comment below. Do you think Hyundai can turn this around in 2026? Or has Toyota just built something that's on another level? Subscribe if you want every WRC breakdown before the mainstream gets there. We're just getting started.